Welcome back to Pearl Snap Tarot, and we were just having some thoughts here. We're still getting shouted around town a little bit. I caught an energy harvester in the parking lot at Albertsons this afternoon, and I knew what he was doing. I went like that at him, from my car. Excuse me. And he panicked. These people, they know they're not supposed to be bothering us anymore, but they still are shadowing and trying to be slick about it. Who are these people? Well, they're parasites. They're energy harvesters. They are the etheric vampires, okay? Etheric energy is your subtle energy. You know how you have energies associated with your body, and your life force energy extends outwards from your body, like, I don't know, 3 feet in every direction or something like that, right? And if you could imagine that, it would be kind of like a big egg shape, right? Which is what I like to talk about Carlos Castaneda, but that's what he talked about. He talked about the luminous egg, and I think that's what he meant. This I don't even know how to describe. I'm plunging into trying to talk to you about something, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I'm still trying to figure out this energy harvesting thing. Okay. And it has to do with spiritual warfare. And I'm sorry, but I really believe in it. I know some people are out there denying that it's real, but I believe in it. And that's because I've had people following me around all the time, and they want to touch on me. I've talked about this in my videos. I've been having people do that to me for a long time now. Okay, a long time, like maybe up to 10 years, I've been noticing that there are some people out there who get attracted to me, try to follow me, they want to touch me. The etheric vampires, the luminous egg. Okay, this is, remember Don Juan, I think they called him a sorcerer in those books. He knew all about how the predators eat up the luminous egg. They eat it all your life to sustain themselves. There's a parasitic type of being that looks human among us. And apparently they've been around a long time, because that region where they were, where they were doing all that stuff, Carlos Castaneda and Don Juan, and that was in the Chihuahuan desert, which is not that far from here. Well, we are actually in part of it, so where I live. And it extends down and across to the west into Mexico too. And this was a region that was full of these really violent type of native people at one time. And it was a dangerous region at one time. I read about it. I forget where I read that and when I read it even. But this is a long time ago, like even after the civilizations like Aztecs, Mayans and stuff. It might have go back that far. Those people did blood sacrifice, okay? And their temples, they cut the heart out up on the Mayan, the altar, at the top of the pyramid in a rituals. They did that. And so where did those people come from? I don't know, but somehow they have some sort of cannibalistic bloodlust type tendency. They might have been remnants of an engineered race that the unknown creators combined with animals a long time ago. That's kind of my theory. And then they did it again, you know. They've done it again. Every time they visit here, they do new experiments in creating chimeric humans, which means blending the DNA of the human life forms on a planet with DNA of whatever animals are here or on Earth. Maybe it only happens on Earth. I don't know, but I do think there's a lot of stories in the so-called, you know, woo-woo literature about, well, there's the famous one about the Dils base where that supposedly had ETs under the ground in a base creating chimeric humans. And so, and I have suspected, and I made a video about it. It's one of my disclosure, you know, videos about how I believe someone I know here in my town is chimeric. I believe he's crossed with a lab chimp from the Air Force Base because his brother worked in the lab where the chimps were when he was growing up. And that's probably because they needed someone in his family to supervise their little weird experiment. Okay. This person suffered horribly because he knew what he was, and I think he was bullied and MK Ultra'd and all kinds of stuff. He was an experiment. And I gradually realized what had happened and what he was. I gradually realized it. So there are people like that on the planet, but there are also people that are descendants of like blood-lusting, I don't know. Anyway, wherever these people come from, however they get that way, they are walking among us and they are parasitical. They're predators and they're parasites, and that's what's slowing down things and making it such an excruciating wait. It's because they're still trying to feed, and as more and more people wake up and realize there's something pulling on them, there's something pulling on us, there's something weird in the population creating all this negativity. There's a lot of noise on YouTube about toxic narcissists, and that's AKA etheric vampires. It's the same thing, okay? It's the same thing. And if you're real sensitive, then you can feel it. You can feel it. And I started understanding when I got a certain kind of feeling in my solar plexus, right here. It'll come out. It'll start quivering sometimes and feel really uncomfortable and nervous. It's almost like it's spasming if someone's really aggressively feeding nearby. That happened the other day. And I had to take some deep breaths and cut it off. It can happen. And like I said, the guy in the parking lot today, I knew he was doing that. They'll try to get near you, okay? And I was pulling into the parking lot, right? And just had parked and just gotten out of my car, and he got out of his car. He parked right next to me, got out of his car, and he did not walk towards the door of the store. Instead, he tried to walk right in front of me, going the other direction. I'm like, why is that guy getting out of his truck and walking the other way, like towards me? Then I realized what he was doing. And I looked at the way he was dressed too. He was wearing black and white. Okay, they will know who the juicy targets are, the people with the good energy, and they'll talk about you in their networks too. They'll stalk you. These are some of the people that stalk and harass because they get bursts of energy off you when they do that. They get more. They call this, their code word for what they're looking for is supply, okay? And the narcissist needs supply all the time, right? That's just code for the etheric vampire needs to suck on your energy Okay, they want to go deplete a human because they run on that. They run on that. I bought a new hummingbird feeder, and there's one visiting right now. I'm so glad. They haven't left town yet, and I'm so happy that I bought this new feeder. It's so much better than my other one. My other feeder had gotten leaky, and it was rusting inside and stuff, even part of it. And I realized I've had this thing for 5 or 6 years now, so I threw it out and got a new one. And they seem to like it. I'm so glad, because over the weekend I was waiting for this new one, and I had no feeders out there, and I thought, I was so sad, thinking they might be gone for the season, but they're not gone yet. So hopefully they'll find and use the new feeder. One just did, so I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy about that. That's the only pet I can afford, really. But it turns out it's also a spirit guide. Anyway, I've talked about that before. My hummingbirds have come to be with me at critical moments since I've lived here, and I'm looking out the window just to see if another one comes. Anyway, back to the subject at hand, etheric vampires. They are creating blockage to the changes that we all want. They're all dragging their feet, and they're all, they kind of got out of control, forming their networks, and that's what the Satanists are too. They're all in networks of these etheric vampires, and I think some people become that way when they become a Satanist, or when they join the the mafia or whatever. They become spiritually inverted because they become willing to do all this terrible stuff to other people, human sacrifice and stuff. That's when they become spiritually inverted, and they start needing supply, okay? Because they don't have any spiritual protection then. They want some of yours. And also your energy heals them, because once they get like that, they are always hungry. They're hungry. Okay. Now, this is interesting. In Buddha's lore, there's, in Tibetan Buddhism, there's these things called hungry ghosts. And they have long, thin necks that they can barely get any food down. This is weird stuff, but I think that's what is meant by that in their mythology. I think they might have been talking about etheric vampires, because supposedly those exist in China too, and it's bad over there. I think it might be who's running those horrible work camps that we read about with the Uyghur people, that they were victimizing them in these prison camps where they raped the workers and bit them. There were reports of people getting bitten in those places. And they were also creating products there that we don't want to buy or be associated with. And some of what they were creating was, and listen to this, my women out there, my tarot women, human hair extensions. So if you were buying those at your for your weave or something, you might have gotten some from there. I don't know. Don't buy ones that are from China if you can. Avoid it. I don't know. I read that and I believe it. I believe it. Okay, because they're notorious for over there for attacking and victimizing, and they're also notorious, like in my last video, for bringing totalitarian, tyrannical governments, because it lets them feed openly on people. Okay? I think maybe that was what was going on in the Nazi prison camps. Those people got spiritually inverted, and then they needed supply, and then they needed to lock people away so they could openly feed on them. and do horrible, cruel, sadistic things to people because it satisfied their horrible, spiritually inverted bloodlust and nasty, just nasty energy. Nasty, inverted, dark, satanic energy that needs to feed on the light. Okay. So we're dealing with that kind of energy in the world. And the only way to, these people will never ever stop. They'll never stop. And so as much as they're trying to scare you into thinking, I'm going to start shuffling some cards here and just throw down a few about this topic, okay? They will never stop. And so as much as they're trying to scare you into thinking that they're going to kill you and they're calling you, and that's bullshit. They can't. They're getting called out. Not called out, I said C-U-L-L-E-D. They are getting called out. So that we can all move forward in bringing this new improved, planet Earth, okay? All right. Let's use this tarot deck, the one that has the definitions on it. And I'll read the definitions too. So I have my own, way of interpreting these, but I don't always give you the official one. So let's do that today. Okay, let's see. We got first the Seven of Pentacles. So this is who they are, the farmers, the people who run the big human farm, right? They want to manage everything about you, human, okay? Every part, every piece. They want to take your hair for the extensions. They want to get the gold out of your teeth, right? They want to fill you. They want to tattoo you so they can make you be in pain, right? And mark you as a slave. People don't understand what tattooing really is. Do that at your own risk, okay? I mean, you're gonna let somebody stick a needle in you and put ink under your skin? Okay, you never thought that would hurt you in any way, or it hasn't. Come on. Then once you have it, it's impossible not to. You can be identified much more easily. If you wanted to stay anonymous, it might be too late for that anyway, because the surveillance system now it's just being run by an AI that knows your face, it knows how you walk, it knows everything about you. Part of how I learned it was you shopping for groceries at WM, I don't want to say any retailer names, but that's probably how they figured out who you are. Okay. So things have gotten to a point that are really bad, and it's like down to the wire. We got to stop this we can't let them. Nope. It's not sustainable anyway because they're fighting over us. Okay, that's why some of you are trapped. That's why I'm trapped. They're fighting over us. Whoever's got big energy, they want you nearby so they can all suck on you. It's like if they could, they'd lock you in a little cage and everyone would stick a straw into you, And that might be what they're planning to do if we allow a totalitarian government to take hold. Okay, if we allow it, that might be what the plan is. So we can't allow it. And you notice how desperate they're going to be. There's going to be a lot of cheating. There's a lot of fighting right now about how things are set up for voting and stuff like that. There's a lot of fighting about how it's going to be done and stuff like that. It's like one side is determined not to let any cheating happen. The other side's trying to cover their bases and make sure they can cheat wherever they want to or wherever they need to. because this is a matter of life and death for them, for whoever, it's for all of us. Okay? Because if the vampires win, look out. Things are going to get really weird and ugly. We can't let it happen. All right. What else about these farmer weirdos? Ugh. What else about them? I've gotten so they just disgust me. And when I talk or think about them, I find myself going, ugh, all the time. Just like, ugh. I'm so disgusted by them. Okay? This is how empaths feel about these people. They disgust us. We find them repulsive, okay? And there's another dharma from Buddhism, okay? Revulsion is the foot of meditation. That was a teaching that Buddha gave. It means that's the base. That's where it all starts, is becoming repulsed by the enemy, okay? And realizing, oh my God, the only way to fight this is to meditate, to be peaceful, to find, to be happy. Okay, and Buddha said, all beings just want to be happy. But look, these horrible thieves of your energy, they want to take your happiness. They connive and conspire to take away your happiness, to make you miserable because they like to feed on that energy, or even anything they can get. Scare you a little bit by gang stalking you, maybe just embarrass you, or maybe just make you wait. I realized there was a bunch of them at the post office here. They make you wait. And I've been swarmed in there before. A few years back, before I started waking up and other people really started waking up to it, they had control of the post offices here in this state. They still do. What else? Yeah, there was this one guy at the post office he would always make everybody wait. And so I made a complaint about him on their website. I said, this guy he seems to want to make people wait, and it's not right. And I got his name and everything. And ever since I did that, he still remembers me. This is years ago. He remembers me. Whenever I come in there, I get the hate. I got the stink eye. I got a hummingbird confirmation. I get the stink eye from him. Whenever I go in there, I try never to go in there if I can help it. But once in a while I have to. Okay. What else about these people? Okay, all right. So look. Oh, I told you I'd read the definitions. But this is somebody who's, they're kind of a love bomber. A lot of these narcs are love bombers. Because one of their best ways to get energy, especially they want female energy, is to make a woman feel like they want her and then just have a big dump later, and call you names or tell you how gross you are or something, and just ghost you or whatever. I'll have to find that Seven of Pentacles so I can read what it says on the card. Okay, let's see what it says. Oh yeah, I need my reading glasses. Okay, the nerd glasses on here. Don't let your emotions get in the way. Wow. Okay, so they're looking to cause you to have negative emotions. So what have we said? You've got to learn how to control your emotions. Okay, when they come at you with this cup and they're like, "Oh, gimme, fill my cup." Don't let them. Don't react to the shit they do to try to trigger you so they can drain you. Okay, don't let your emotions get in the way. All right, so this says sweetness, gentleness, reflective, self-exploration, intuition, kindness, and sensitivity. So this is for the empaths. Okay, we are nice. All right, let's read the negative aspects of this card. Flatterer, selfish. Okay, these are narcissistic traits. Deviation from the path. Naive, irrational, daydreaming, immature. Yeah, these people are immature. They want you to do all the work, and then they just piggyback on your energy. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see what the Seven of Pentacles said, because that was, remember I said that's the farmer. Okay. The ones that are farming our energy, and want to put us into these Puma camps and shit, right? Okay. By the way, I hope you know what I'm talking about when I talk about Puma camps. I'm in one. I'm in one right now. Okay. I think all this madness is due to end soon, from what I can figure out. All right, Seven of Pentacles. Look back on what you have achieved and set new goals. Well, that's a message to them. They need to find a new way, because we're not going to let you do this anymore. What have you achieved? You fucking divided the population. You scared the hell out of everybody. You MK Ultra'd everybody. Okay, you stole everybody's money. You did mass identity theft. You got the planet in a total mess. Okay, look at what you did. Look what you did. Okay. All right. So what do we need to do? The positive aspects: planning, progress, perseverance, diligence, reflection, necessity, remembering. So this is for empaths. Remember what these people have done to you. Okay? These etheric vampires, these narcissists in your life. Okay? Remember what they've done to you. We just got out of Mercury retrograde. So if you're like me, you were remembering a lot of stuff. I did. I remember a lot of stuff, and I had a lot more insights this time too. The deeper we go into understanding what's going on, the more insights I get. And it's sad. I did a lot of crying during Mercury retrograde, a lot of processing. I'm very sad that I realized these people took my life away from me. They took my happiness away. They really did. Okay. They really did. Okay. Necessity. There's a necessity to cull, okay? Reflecting on, do we have to put up with this? No. They've been lying to us about the way the world is just so they could get us into a position to suck the life out of us, okay? We need to make progress and persevere in the need to plan and be diligent, in the need to flip this around, okay? We're going to flip this around whether they like it or not, okay? Because no one has the right to do that to us. They just don't. They don't have the right, okay? So, okay, this is the negative aspects of the Seven of Pentacles. Waste, disorganization, chaos, giving up, impatience, no reward, imprudence. Okay, they had a bad plan. It's never going to work. And that's because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Like I said, they're having to fight over the supply. They're fighting over the supply. As the supply's waking up, realizing what's going on, it's not a sustainable operation for them or for planet Earth. It just isn't. Okay. What else, Spirit? This is great. It's totally for real. This is for real, for real. Okay, let's get any more messages out of this deck, please, Spirit, about these etheric vampires, aka toxic narcissists, or what else do they call them that when they're really bad? Okay, this is what they want. Look, this is what they want. They want your life force energy. You have the overflowing cup of the kind of energy they want. Your spiritual energy, your life force energy, your God energy. You have a God connection, and anyone with one of those can, puts out this kind of energy. Okay, this sacred energy. This is the Holy Grail here. See that Holy Spirit above it there? See that? Okay. Okay, the positive aspects. Open your heart and receive the emotions around you. Okay, well that's compassion, and that's the empath's. That's how the empath is. Or the compassionate person, the person with a God connection, is a little bit too receptive. And so we've all had to learn how to shut it down. Haven't we heard that, talk about that over and over? You've got to learn how to be discriminating in who you are giving your energy to or who you're allowing to take it. And you have to be able to recognize that someone's trying to take it from you, okay? Another thing I wanted to add in, I'm editing some further insights in now, is that, and I don't remember the terminology exactly, but in the path, the Buddhist path, there's different stages of it, right? When you're a beginner, they say that you first before you can really develop compassion for other beings, you first have to develop compassion for yourself. So that's the self-love part, okay? That's a fundamental. It's kind of like when you're on the airplane and the stewardess, before you take off, says, if the oxygen masks come down, you put on yours first before you put one on your child, right? So, I don't know what that was. Something just flew by. It was weird. So, developing compassion for yourself first, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about self-care, self-love, is you cannot have that's part of your spiritual foundation, is looking after yourself first, and it's not selfish, because you can't really help anyone else until you learn how to take care of yourself. So I wanted to make sure I included that in this talk about spiritual predators and vampires and so forth. You have to guard your own energy, protect your energy. That's what that means. Okay. So the positive aspects, unconditional love, you don't have to be embarrassed that you are capable of that. But some people are not worthy of it, okay? You don't have to let somebody squeeze you for it. Okay, that's up to you to decide who's allowed to partake and who isn't. That's your decision, not theirs, okay? And a lot of religion will kind of guilt you into giving your energy. Okay, you must love unconditionally. Anything else is... No. Okay, new feelings, new friendship, beauty, opulence, pleasure, and self-love. Okay, self-love, collective. You're in charge of managing your own energy, and you have to sort of manage it by doing self-care and by loving yourself, okay? So you can love yourself first so that these terrible predators aren't depleting you. Okay, remember what Don Juan said, over your lifetime, they eat away the whole egg until there's nothing left except a little bit down around your ankles, he said. That's weird, but I kind of believe it. Okay. All right, so the negative aspects. And this is when you give too much, you're spilling your cup, you turn it upside down. Some vampires want to do that. They want to stand right underneath it and go, okay. Pour it right in my mouth, you know? Okay. Repressed emotion, blocked logic, emotional overwhelm, alteration, emptiness. This might be how you might feel. Well, they have repressed emotion, okay? That's what makes them so needy of your unconditional love, all right? Blocked logic, yeah, they're not very logical. They come at you with all kinds of guilt trips and abuse and stuff to take you out of your reasoning mind, and anything to get some of your juice, anything, okay? Emotional overwhelm, yeah, they'll do that to you to siphon off your energy. They will. That's what gang stalking's all about. Okay. Alteration, changing things. That might be like energy transfer. They want that energy transfer from you to them. And emptiness. They feel empty these people, these spiritually inverted people, they feel empty inside. And they're going to have to realize that the only way to fill that emptiness is to behave in a loving way. You can't beat somebody up into loving you. But that's what they've been trying to do. They try and traumatize and brutalize and force people into giving up their energy, like those horrible Chinese guys in the Uyghur, prison camps. That's the worst case scenario. It might be even worse. We don't really know what goes on in those places. We just do the reports about it, which is very, very scary. And my heart goes out to those people if they were victimized like that. I've told you that I pretty much know I had past lives in Tibet, and I went on a trip to Nepal one time with a group from Naropa, now University in Boulder. A long time ago, it was a graduate program called Study Abroad, and I went with a group to Nepal in 1987. Now, that was the year that their great founder of Naropa, the Venerable Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, who came out of Tibet during the Chinese, when they were murdering all the monks and destroying all the monasteries. He came out of there at that time. Okay. He escaped. And so that was the year he died. And that was the year I visited Nepal with that group from Naropa. And I didn't really have any connection to Naropa before that. That was my first connection to them. And the trip was weird, and I believe there were people there that were spiritually inverted, and they were almost like, it was almost like I was gang stalked and stuff the whole trip when I look back on it. In fact, I think that I got accepted to go on the trip. They were only accepting a certain number of people, okay? You had to be accepted, you had to have an interview to go and stuff. And I think I was selected because someone noticed that I had big energy. And a group was planning to energy harvest over there. And that's exactly what unfolded. Now that I look back at the behavior of the people on the trip and stuff, oh my God. That's another story, but I was going to tell you about what happened on October 6th when I was there. And that was, we visited the big stupa. I think it's called Swayambhunath. It's a big round domed thing with the eye of Buddha on it and stuff. And there was a ceremony there, a prayer ceremony for monks that had been killed in a massacre on that date of, I'll have to look it up for you. This is just coming to me now, and I was thinking about it earlier, last night too. So I got this, I was there. I was there for that ceremony on October 6th. I was there. And on that day, I woke up with a terrible pain in my neck. Terrible pain in my neck. And I got an insight that I might have even been decapitated in that massacre. I might have been a monk that had a life there at that time. I might have been, that's what I saw. I was there to participate in the memorial service for them in 1987. Same year that Chogyam Trungpa died. And I do believe I'm a psychic medium, and I do believe that Rinpoche has visited me a couple times now. Now, many of the people that visit me have unfinished business, and many of them are murder victims. Okay, I can't say much more about that because I can't prove anything, but a lot of these people come to people like me because they want somebody to know what happened. Okay. He was known at the end as the drunken yogi, and people said that he came to lectures drunk. Well, I wonder. Maybe his words were slurred because he was being, something else was happening to him at home, or I don't know. I don't know. See what the cards have to say about that. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to grab his book in a minute too. Okay. All right, so, oh, look. Oh, wow. Okay, we got the Four of Cups. Yeah, I'm having a visitation from Rinpoche. See, here he comes in the spirit to tell me what happened. He wants to tell me what happened. He's visited me before. See that person? They're sitting in a Zen meditation position. In the Naropa Sangha, that's where I learned how to meditate. On that trip, I received my first meditation instruction. And those Buddhists, they sit like that on a little cushion, okay? What does this say? Whoa, okay, this is really interesting reading here. Don't let your focus close you to new ideas. Contemplation, apathy, seclusion, closed, lack of risk, boredom, demotivation. Well, all that sounds like withdrawing from the world and going inside yourself. And that's AKA doing the work, okay? Is detaching from everything earthly and all this earthly nonsense that goes on with these hungry ghosts and these horrible spirits that are trying to run you through the, samsara and get you to go around the wheel again. Okay, what are the negative aspects? New approaches to old problems, new events and possibilities. And, well, this sounds more positive. New approaches to old problems. Maybe that's what comes out of being contemplative and meditating. You are shown new ways to solve the problems, right? You get insights doing that. That's what this is, this little cloud carrying a cup. It's an insight, okay? New events and possibilities, okay? Enthusiasm for life, acceptance. So, enthusiasm for life, you get refreshed after you do your meditation and stuff. And you come out of that like, okay, I can keep going now. I refreshed myself and I accept things the way they are. Okay, I'm not going to be deluded about it. That's supposedly a benefit of meditation is my hummy's just looking in the window at me. It's flying in front of the window. I'm definitely having a visitation right now. What was I going to say? Acceptance. Right, it's removing the blinders because when you start meditating and everything, then you start to declutter your mind. You start to, be able to dump out all the things the world tells you that are lies and stuff. That's what a retreat is. It's like getting away from all that, okay? And going into meditation is getting away from all the lies and stuff. And you start to accept that the world the way it is, that it's full of lies, and you're grateful to be able to figure out what's the lies are, so you don't have to take them in and be all crazy out in samsara, going around and around that wheel again, you know. All right, let's see what Rinpoche's book has to tell us. And we'll do a random problems as opportunities. Oh, okay. The attitude that results from the Buddhist orientation and practice is quite different from the mistake mentality. One actually experiences mind as fundamentally pure, that is healthy and positive, and problems as temporary and superficial defilements. Ooh, defilements, okay. Such a viewpoint does not quite mean getting rid of problems, but rather shifting one's focus. What did this card say? New approaches to old problems. Wow. Okay. Thank you for coming to help everyone. Thank you. Rather shifting one's focus. Problems are seen in a much broader context of health. One begins to let go of clinging to one's neuroses and to step beyond obsession and identification with them. What I say, just letting things fall away and clearing things away and clearing away all the junk and all the residue of what you've been told and the lies you've been told and the junk that piles up. You know, it's like chipping away at this, you know, layers of mud that got on you or something until you're clean again, okay? The emphasis is no longer on the problems themselves, but rather on the ground of experience through realizing the nature of mind itself. That we obsess about things, we cling to things and all that. If we can see that, then you're taming it, okay? When problems are seen in this way, then there is less panic and everything seems more workable. Okay, Rinpoche talked a lot about things, working through things and workability. Can you work with things? And that's what acceptance means, that you're accepting there's weird shit out there and you gotta work with it, right? Okay. There's energy vampires. You're gonna have to work with them a little bit, or learn who they are and stay away from them, or be nice to them, be polite, but you don't have to let them take from you, okay? When problems arise, instead of being seen as purely threats, they become learning situations, opportunities to find out more about one's own mind and to continue on one's journey. So it helps you along the path. Yeah, okay. Well, that was number 65. Number 65. Let's go 64 too. Who wants to hear that? The nonviolent approach. To develop ahimsa, or the nonviolent approach, first of all, you have to see that your problems are not really trying to destroy you. That's working with it when you decide not to. I just heard a bird tweet really loudly after I said that. They're not, your problems are not really trying to destroy you. Usually we immediately try to get rid of our problems. We think that there are forces operating against us and that we have to get rid of them. The important thing is to learn to be friendly toward our problems by developing what is called metta in Pali, maitri in Sanskrit, or loving kindness in English. Okay, this is so interesting because I'm getting a teaching too while I make this video. It strikes me as so ironic that I spent the first part of the video talking about this problem of etheric vampires that we need to get rid of. And I was pretty aggressive there. But I think that's just because I've had such intense struggles with these entities. And maybe this is why, because I didn't take a nonviolent approach. Okay, just throwing that in there. Like, even as I'm making this video, I'm learning, because there's been a visitation here, and I think it shows in the cards that I drew, the things I read, and then drawing a random reading out of the book that had the same words and everything. This is a visitation. Okay. So it's the willingness to look at the problem, maybe extend some compassion somewhere, or try to be generous in, maybe this is the same as forgiving people, right? Like forgive them for they know not what they do. It might be developing that kind of consciousness so that you can deal with your problem that way. Like, okay, this is just one of those energy vampire people. They can't help what they're doing, but it's not my thing. I didn't sell my soul to the devil, or I don't have to submit to his weird energy demon people either. And it's also, this sounds like when we talk about making friends with demons or being friendly with them, right, or something. They might be on our side. Maybe even if we show them a little bit of compassion, but that doesn't mean we let them have everything. You know, sometimes tough love is compassion, right? A little bit of discipline, loving kindness might take that form. I've just heard wrathful demon, wrathful deity. Okay, so that's maybe when you have to breathe a little fire at somebody. And no, we don't do that. Okay. Tough love is in there too. All right, I got real preachy here, and I don't mean to preach at Collective, but we did have a visitation. I want to thank Rinpoche for visiting. Whether you believe it or not, you don't have to. You don't have to, but I do. Thank you for coming.